6 months after the war that lasted 2 days, life in the galaxy had changed in ways nobody expected. The Galactic Council had quietly filed away their war declaration and pretended the whole thing never happened, but the rest of the galaxy could not forget about what they had witnessed. The impossible had happened. The humans had won against the greatest military force in history and then went back to complaining about broken coffee machines. Ambassador Lim Harry was Earth's new representative to the Galactic Council. She was a smart woman who spoke several alien languages and had studied galactic politics for many years. When she arrived at the Great Crystal Building for her first day of work, she expected to deal with trade disputes and diplomatic meetings. Instead, she found something very different. Every day, alien ambassadors came to her office asking strange questions. They wanted to know about Earth's secret military techniques. They wanted to learn how humans trained their warriors. Ambassador Lim sat in her office looking at a long list of meeting requests. The Crystal people wanted to know how humans made their mining equipment so powerful. The Bug people wanted to learn about human battle psychology. How do you train your construction workers to fight spaceships? Asked the ambassador from the metal planet. We do not train them to fight spaceships, Lim Harry replied. They were just building a house when you attacked them, but they destroyed our fighter squadron with primitive tools. The alien insisted there must be secret training methods. Lim Harry tried to explain that humans were not secretly training for war. They were just doing their regular jobs when aliens interrupted them, but the aliens could not believe this. Every week she had to give presentations to alien military leaders who wanted to understand human fighting methods. She showed them videos of construction sites and restaurant kitchens. The aliens studied the videos very carefully, taking notes about crane operation techniques and kitchen equipment throwing methods. They thought these were advanced military tactics. Meanwhile, something interesting was happening. In spaceships from different alien planets were arriving at Earth, asking for permission to trade. The aliens had discovered that humans made very good products. Earth factories produced machines that worked well and lasted a long time. Human farmers grew food that tasted better than artificial alien food. Most importantly, humans had a reputation for being able to fix anything that was broken. The galaxy was full of ancient machines that nobody knew how to repair. Engineer Park Min-ho worked at a repair shop in Seoul. One day, a huge alien ship landed outside his shop. A nervous-looking creature with purple skin and too many arms came inside. "Excuse me," the alien said in broken Korean language. "My ship's engine is making strange noises. My people have tried to fix it for 50 years, but it still does not work right." Park Min-ho was a friendly man who enjoyed solving difficult problems. He looked at the alien ship's engine and immediately saw what was wrong. "Oh, that is easy," he said. "You have a loose connection in the power coupling and your coolant system needs new filters." The alien stared at him in amazement. "You can see the problem just by looking at it." Park Min-ho fixed the engine in 2 hours. The alien was so happy he started crying tears of joy. He had been flying around the galaxy for years looking for someone who could repair his ship. Word spread quickly through alien communication networks that humans were excellent at fixing broken things. Soon repair shops all over Earth were full of aliens bringing their damaged equipment. The aliens also discovered that humans were very good at staying calm during emergencies. When alien ships had problems in space, they started calling Earth for help. Captain Lee Dae-ho had been promoted to admiral, even though he did not want the promotion. His space fleet had grown from 37 ships to over 200. Most of the new ships were gifts from grateful aliens. Many of the alien ships that joined his fleet were crewed by refugees from planets that had been conquered by the same coalition that failed to defeat Earth. These aliens had heard the stories about how humans fought back against impossible odds. They wanted to learn what they called the human way of solving problems. Commander Zexai was from a planet that had been destroyed by the Bug People army. She was a tall blue alien with tentacles instead of arms. Her people had surrendered immediately when the Bug People attacked, but when she saw how humans had defeated the same Bug People army with construction equipment, she realized that surrender was not the only option. Commander Zexai joined Admiral Lee's fleet and learned human military tactics, which mostly involved using whatever was available and not giving up. When things got difficult, she practiced using civilian equipment as weapons. She learned how to stay calm during emergencies. She studied human problem-solving methods. The most important lesson she learned was that humans did not accept that some problems were impossible to solve if something was broken. They fixed it if something was in their way, they moved it. Other aliens began asking to join human crews. They wanted to learn this strange human ability to treat the extraordinary as ordinary. The galaxy discovered that humans were not just good at fighting, they were good at many things that other species found difficult. Human doctors could fix medical problems that alien doctors said were impossible to cure. Human teachers cowl. News about humanity's victory spread across the galaxy faster than light-speed. Alien communication systems could carry it. Every planet, every space station, every alien civilization heard the impossible story, the greatest military force in Galactic history had been defeated by construction workers, chefs, and schoolchildren. The mighty Galactic Council fleet had been destroyed by mining equipment and kitchen utensils. At first, nobody believed the reports. Alien leaders thought the stories were jokes or mistakes. How could a species that seemed to care more about food than fighting win against trained warriors? Ambassador Vexstar sat in his office staring at the video recordings of the battle. His scales had turned a sick yellow color and his red eyes were dim with shock. The videos showed everything: human workers using cranes to swat spaceships out of the sky like flies, cooks throwing pots and pans at alien fighters, students using science experiments to crash alien ships. But the most disturbing part was not what the humans did, it was how they acted. They were not scared or angry. They were just annoyed, like someone had interrupted their lunch. Vexstar had started wars with dozens of species. He had seen civilizations surrender. In terror, he had watched planets burn under alien attacks. He had never seen anything like this. The humans treated galactic warfare like a minor inconvenience. They fought back with whatever they had nearby, then went back to their normal activities. When it was over, the Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. All 47 member species sent their leaders to discuss what had happened. The Great Crystal Hall was full of confused and worried aliens. "How is this possible?" asked the ambassador. From the crystal people, her body shimmering with nervous energy, our computer models predicted easy victory. The humans should have surrendered immediately. The bug people's representative clicked her mandibles anxiously. Our battle plans were perfect. She said, "We studied human military capabilities for months. Their weapons were primitive, their ships were few." Admiral Zothran stood up slowly, his tree-like form looking older than his 300 years. The humans did not use military weapons. He said they used civilian equipment, office supplies, construction tools, kitchen equipment. The room buzzed with confused alien voices. This did not make sense. Military equipment was designed for war, civilian equipment was for daily life. How could daily life tools defeat war machines? The truth was that humans had solved the problem the only way they knew how. When something bothered them, they found a way to make it stop bothering them. It did not matter if the problem was supposed to be impossible to solve. General Klixmara showed the council recordings of human cities during the attack. People were going to work and school like nothing unusual was happening. When aliens got in their way, they dealt with the aliens and kept going. "Look at this footage," she said. "A human female threw a cooking pot at our fighter ship, then went back to making soup. She treated our invasion like a fly that needed to be swatted away." The alien leaders watched in amazement as humans on the screen continued their daily routines while casually fighting off the most powerful military force in the galaxy. In one video, a human male was building a house. When alien ships attacked, he used his construction equipment to fight them off, then went back to hammering nails. When the battle was over, he continued building as if nothing had happened. Another video showed human children at school. They used their science class materials to defeat alien soldiers, then sat down to take a mathematics test. The aliens could not understand this behavior. When they were attacked, they stopped everything to fight. When they won battles, they celebrated for days. When they lost, they mourned for weeks. But humans seemed to treat warfare like any other minor problem that needed to be solved quickly so they could get back to more important things. Meanwhile, on Earth, the news media was already moving on to other stories. Reporter Big J1 had covered the alien invasion for 3 days, but now he was reporting on a new shopping mall opening. "The alien war lasted 2 days, he said during his evening news broadcast. Traffic was delayed on Highway 1 because of crashed alien ships, but construction crews have cleared the roads. Normal commuting should resume tomorrow. The news anchor talked about the Galactic War like it was a traffic accident or a power outage, something that caused minor inconvenience but was now fixed. Most humans had already forgotten about the aliens. They had more important things to think about, like paying bills and planning weekend activities. The aliens who had survived the battle tried to explain what had happened to their friends and families, but nobody believed them. "You were defeated by a human with a soup ladle," asked one alien. "Wi-Fi construction worker used his crane to destroy your fighter squadron," asked another alien friend. The story sounded too ridiculous to be true, but the video evidence was clear. Humans had won the war by treating it like a minor workplace annoyance. The Galaxy Council spent weeks trying to understand what had gone wrong. They hired experts to study human psychology. They brought in military strategists to analyze the battles. Every expert came to the same conclusion: humans did not fight like other species. They did not follow the rules of warfare. They did not understand that some enemies were supposed to be unbeatable. The humans had a simple approach to problems. If something was bothering them, they made it stop bothering them. They did not care if the problem was supposed to be impossible to solve. This was completely different from how other species approached conflict. Most aliens would study their enemies for years before attacking. They would plan elaborate strategies and build special weapons, but humans just used whatever they had nearby and improvised solutions as they went along. This made them completely unpredictable and very difficult to fight against. The alien military commanders realized they had made a fundamental error. They had prepared to fight human soldiers, but most humans were not soldiers. They were just people doing their jobs. The galaxy was full of species that had dedicated warrior classes and professional armies, but Earth was full of people who had day jobs and used their work skills to solve problems. When the aliens attacked human cities, they found construction workers who were very good at operating heavy machinery, cooks who were very good at throwing things accurately, students who were very good at science experiments. The aliens had expected to fight against human weapons. Instead, they had to fight against human creativity and stubbornness. The Galactic Council faced a difficult decision. They could try to attack Earth again, but the first two attempts had failed badly. They could try to negotiate with humans, but the humans did not seem interested in talking, or they could do something that had never been done before in galactic history. They could admit that they had made a mistake and ask for peace. Ambassador Vexstar stood up at the council meeting, his scales now a pale green color of embarrassment. "I propose we withdraw our declaration of war against humanity," he said. The room was silent. The Galactic Council had never withdrawn a war declaration before. It would be very embarrassing and would make them look weak. But the alternative was to keep fighting a war they could not win against people who did not seem to care whether they won or lost. The vote was close, but the council decided to quietly end the war. They would not admit defeat officially, but they would stop trying to attack Earth. The war declaration was filed away in the galactic archives, marked as resolved. The council members went back to their home planets, hoping everyone would forget about the embarrassing incident, but the galaxy would not forget. The story of how humans defeated the greatest military force in history with mining equipment and kitchen utensils became a legend that spread to every corner of space, and humans went back to their normal lives, completely unaware that they had become the most feared species in the galaxy. The alien fleet had been destroyed, but the Galactic Council was not ready to give up. They thought the first battle was just bad luck. Maybe the humans had secret weapons they had not seen before. Admiral Zothran flew back to the council building. With only 30 ships left from his great army of 700,000, his tree-like skin had turned gray from shame, and his yellow eyes looked very tired. The council members were waiting for his report. They expected to hear about humanity's surrender and the victory celebration. Instead, they heard about mining equipment and a human who ate noodles during war declarations. "This is impossible," shouted Ambassador Vexstar, his scales turning bright red with anger. "How can mining tools defeat our greatest warships?" Admiral Zothran showed them video recordings of the battle. The council members watched in silence as their mighty fleet was cut apart by industrial lasers designed to break rocks. "The humans were not even trying to fight us," Admiral Zothran said. "They were just doing their regular jobs." Their mining system thought our ships were asteroids. The council decided to try a different approach. Instead of sending one big fleet, they would send smaller groups to attack Earth's cities directly. If they could make humans scared, maybe they would surrender. They sent attack ships to the biggest cities on Earth, expecting to find military bases and dangerous weapons. Instead, they found humans doing exactly what humans always did. In Seoul, the capital city of South Korea, the alien ships arrived just as people were going to work. Construction worker Jang Kyung-ho was operating a big crane that was building a new office building. Jang Kyung-ho was a strong man with rough hands who had been building things for 15 years. He was very good at his job and took pride in his work. When the alien fighters started flying around his construction site, Jang Kyung-ho got annoyed. They were making it hard for him to see what he was doing, and their noise was disturbing his concentration. One of the alien ships flew too close to his crane. Jang Kyung-ho swung the heavy metal hook at the end of the crane and hit the ship. The ship spun around and crashed into a building. "Oh, no," Jang Kyung-ho said. "I hope that does not come out of my pay more." Alien ships came to attack him, but Jang Kyung-ho used his crane like a giant fly swatter. He swatted the ships out of the sky one by one. He had been using cranes for so long that hitting small flying objects was easy for him. The aliens in the ships could not understand what was happening. They were trained fighter pilots with advanced weapons, but they were being defeated by construction equipment. In Busan, the port city chef Kim Yoon-ji was preparing lunch at a restaurant. She ran a small place that served traditional Korean food to factory workers. When alien ships started attacking the city, Kim Yoon-ji was cooking rice in her big industrial rice cooker. She had soup boiling in giant pots and meat cooking on large grills. The alien weapons hit her restaurant and broke some windows. Kim Yoon-ji got very angry. Nobody was allowed to interrupt her cooking, especially not during lunch rush hour. She grabbed her biggest soup ladle and went outside to see what was happening. The alien ships were flying around, shooting at buildings and scaring her customers away. Kim Yoon-ji picked up her industrial rice cooker and threw it at one of the alien ships. The hot rice and boiling water splashed all over the ship's windows. The pilot could not see and crashed into a tree. Then she started throwing her cooking equipment at the other ships. Heavy pots and pans flew through the air like missiles, or kitchen knives spun through the air like throwing stars. The aliens had never fought against angry chefs before. They did not know that people who cook for hundreds of customers every day are very strong and very accurate when throwing things. Even children joined the fight. In Daegu, student council president Shin The-yoon was at school when the aliens attacked. She was a smart girl who was good at science and organizing her classmates. The alien ships were flying around the school playground, shooting at the building. Shin The-yoon thought this was very rude. The aliens were interrupting important education. She gathered her science club members and they went to the chemistry lab. They mixed chemicals to make smoke bombs and used mirrors to reflect sunlight at the alien ships. The aliens could not see through the smoke and the bright lights hurt their eyes. Their ships crashed into each other and fell out of the sky. Shin The-yoon and her friends cheered. They had learned about chemistry and physics by fighting aliens. This was much more interesting than regular school lessons all over. Earth humans were responding to the alien invasion in their own special way. They did not have military training or advanced weapons. They just used whatever they had. Nearby farmers used their tractors to ram alien ships that landed in their fields. Office workers threw staplers and coffee mugs at alien soldiers who entered their buildings. Taxi drivers used their cars to chase alien vehicles through the streets. Pizza delivery drivers threw hot pizza at alien pilots who got too close to their motorcycles. The aliens were completely confused by these tactics. They had trained for centuries to fight against proper military forces. They knew how to fight soldiers with guns and tanks and aircraft, but they had never fought against people who treated war like a minor inconvenience to their daily routine. They had never faced opponents who used office supplies as weapons. The alien commanders tried to understand what was happening. They sent messages to each other asking for advice, but nobody had any answers. "How do we fight people who do not know they are supposed to be afraid?" asked one alien general. "What do we do about humans who use construction equipment as weapons?" asked another. The aliens had studied many different species before attacking them. They knew how each species would react to invasion. They had detailed plans for every possible response, but humans were not following any of the expected patterns. They were not surrendering in fear, they were not organizing military resistance. They were just getting annoyed and fighting back with whatever was handy. A group of alien soldiers landed in downtown Seoul, expecting to capture important government buildings. Instead, they found themselves being chased by angry shopkeepers with brooms and mops. The aliens ran through the streets trying to escape, but everywhere they went, they found more humans who were irritated by the invasion. A grandmother hit an alien soldier with her purse because he was blocking her path to the grocery store. A group of teenagers threw their school backpacks at alien ships because they were making too much noise. The aliens' advanced armor and weapons were designed to protect them from lasers and explosions. They were not designed to protect them from angry humans with household items. By the end of the day, the second alien invasion had failed completely. The aliens retreated to their ships and flew away from Earth as fast as they could. The humans who had fought them went back to their normal activities. Jang Kyung-ho finished building his office building. Kim Yoon-ji served lunch to her customers. Shin The-eun went to her next class. Nobody thought what they had done was special or heroic. They had just solved a problem that was interfering with their regular work. The news reporters talked about the alien invasion for a few days, but then moved on to other stories. The aliens had become yesterday's news, and Earth life continued exactly as it always had. People went to work and school. They watched television and played games. They complained about the weather and traffic. The only change was that some people started carrying bigger purses and backpacks just in case more aliens showed up to bother them. The galaxy was beginning to learn that humans were not like other species. They did not get scared easily. They did not give up when things got difficult. Most importantly, they did not understand that some problems were supposed to be impossible to solve. They just found a way to solve them anyway. This was becoming a very big problem for the aliens. The alien army finally arrived at the edge of human space after traveling for many days. Their 700,000 ships formed perfect lines in the darkness of space. Each ship was clean and shiny with powerful weapons pointing toward Earth. Admiral Zothran stood on the bridge of his command ship looking at the small blue planet through his telescope. He could see the white clouds and green land where humans lived. Soon he thought this planet would belong to the Galactic Council. The alien ships arranged themselves in a formation that looked like a giant flower with Earth in the center. Each group of ships had a specific job. Some would attack cities, some would destroy military bases, and some would capture important human leaders. Admiral Zothran activated the communication system to talk to the humans. He expected to hear scared voices begging for mercy or angry voices threatening to fight back. Instead, he heard soft music playing and a voice that sounded very bored. Hello, this is Earth Communication Station. How can I help you today? The voice belonged to Engineering Officer Kong Dong-woo, who was working the night shift at the communication station. He was a young man who usually fixed broken computers and answered phone calls from lost spaceships. Kang Dong-woo was eating instant noodles from a cup when the aliens called. He had heated the noodles in the microwave and they were still very hot. He was blowing on them to cool them down while he answered the phone. This is Admiral Zothran of the Galactic Council. Fleet, the alien leader said in his deep, scary voice. You must surrender immediately or face total destruction. Kang Dong-woo took a bite of his noodles and thought about this. Oh, you must be the aliens who declared war on us, he said. Can you hold on for a minute? I need to finish my dinner. What? Admiral Zothran could not believe what he was hearing. Did you just ask me to wait while you eat food? Yeah, sorry about that, Kang Dong-woo said. These noodles are really hot and I have not eaten anything since lunch. Can you hold on for like 15 minutes before Admiral Zothran could answer Kong? Dong-woo put him on hold. The communication system started playing soft jazz music. The entire alien fleet of 700,000 ships waited in perfect battle formation while listening to elevator music. The other alien commanders could not believe what was happening. General Klixmara buzzed angrily with her insect wings. Why are we waiting for a human to finish eating? She asked. Admiral Zothran did not know what to say. He had conquered many planets and species, but none of them had ever asked him to wait while they ate dinner. This was not how wars were supposed to start after 17. Minutes. Kang Dong-woo came back on the communication system. Sorry about that. He said those noodles were really good. Now, what were you saying about surrendering? Admiral Zothran was so angry his tree-like skin turned from brown to dark red, I said. You must surrender immediately or we will destroy your planet. Oh, that Kang Dong-woo said. Yeah, we talked about it and we decided we do not want to surrender. Is there anything else I can help you with today? The alien fleet opened fire with weapons that could destroy entire planets. Thousands of laser beams and energy missiles flew toward Earth. The space around the planet lit up like a fireworks show, but Earth was ready for them. The planet had defensive systems, but they were not military weapons. They were mining equipment and construction tools that had been turned into defense systems by accident when the alien weapons hit Earth's defensive shields. The shields absorbed the energy and sent it to the planet's mining stations. The mining stations used this energy to power their equipment. Engineer Oh Soo-min was working late at the asteroid mining station when all the lights suddenly got very bright. She was a small woman with strong hands who had been fixing mining equipment. For 10 years, the mining equipment started making loud noises and moving by itself. Oh. Soo-min looked at her control panel and saw that the system was getting too much power. She tried to turn it off, but the controls were not working. Then she realized what was happening. The alien weapons were giving power to the mining equipment. The system thought there were asteroids nearby that needed to be broken apart. The automated mining system activated and started looking for targets to mine. It found the alien spaceships and decided they were just very large asteroids that needed to be processed. Giant mining lasers shot out from Earth and began cutting apart the alien ships like they were rocks in space. The lasers were not designed to fight wars. They were designed to break apart asteroids to find valuable metals inside. The alien ships had shields that could stop military weapons, but the mining lasers were different. They were industrial tools that worked in a completely different way. The shields could not stop them. Oh Soo-min watched on her screen as the mining system began automatically processing the alien fleet. The computer showed statistics about how many tons of metal it was collecting from each ship. She picked up her communication device and called her supervisor. Hey boss, she said, the mining system is acting weird again. It thinks those alien ships are asteroids and it is trying to process them. Her supervisor was at home eating dinner. What alien ships? He asked. The ones that are shooting at us, Oh Soo-min said. The system is cutting them up and sorting the metal by type. Do you want me to shut it down? The supervisor thought about this for a moment. Those aliens interrupted my dinner, he said. Let the system finish processing them. We can use the metal. The alien fleet that had conquered dozens of planets was being systematically dismantled by equipment designed to mine rocks in space. The sophisticated military formation became scattered pieces of metal floating in space. Admiral Zothran watched in horror as his great army was destroyed by what appeared to be industrial equipment. His flagship was cut in half by a mining laser that was supposed to be used on asteroids. General Klixmara tried to order a retreat, but half of her ships were already being processed by the mining system. The other half were trapped in tractor beams that were designed to pull asteroids toward the processing stations. The battle lasted exactly 4 hours and 23 minutes. At the end, the alien fleet was mostly gone and Earth had collected enough metal to build 1,000 new spaceships. The mining system automatically sent a report to the Earth government about how much metal it had collected. It also sent a bill to the aliens for the processing service. So Soo-min finished her shift and went home to bed. She made a note in her work log that the mining system had processed some unusually large asteroids and that everything was working normally on Earth. Most people slept through the entire battle. The mining lasers made some noise, but people thought it was just construction work happening at night. Captain Lee Dae-ho woke up the next morning and checked his messages. He found a report about the alien attack and the mining system's response. He read it while drinking his coffee. Then he wrote a formal complaint to the Galactic Council about aliens interfering with Earth's mining operations. He asked them to pay for the damage to the mining equipment and to clean up the metal debris they had left in space. The complaint was filed in the official galactic records as a routine business dispute between Earth's mining company and some aliens who had not paid their processing fees. The Great War between humanity and the galaxy had started and ended in less than 5 hours. Most humans did not even know it had happened. The aliens who survived the battle flew back to their home planets to tell everyone what they had seen, but nobody believed them. How could industrial mining equipment defeat the greatest military force in the galaxy? The answer was simple. The aliens had prepared for war, but humans had prepared for Tuesday, and on Tuesday, the mining equipment needed to process asteroids. Just like it did every other day, the aliens had not considered that humans might not understand. They were supposed to be afraid. They had not planned for humans to treat the invasion like a minor inconvenience to their regular work schedule. This was the first time in galactic history that a species had accidentally won a war while trying to do their normal jobs, but it would not be the last time humans surprised the galaxy. While the biggest military minds in the galaxy were working day and night to plan how to destroy humanity, Earth was doing something very different. Earth was not really preparing for war at all. President Choi Min-ha was a smart woman who had been running the country for 3 years. She had dealt with many problems before, like food shortages and broken satellites, but she had never dealt with aliens declaring war on the whole planet. When her assistant told her about the emergency meeting, she thought it would be about the usual things like taxes or new laws. She walked into the big meeting room in the government building and saw all her important advisors sitting around the long table. Everyone looked very serious, which made President Choi think this was really important. Her defense minister handed her a tablet computer with the alien war declaration on it. She read it carefully twice, then she looked up at all the serious faces around the table and asked a simple question: should we send them a letter saying no, thank you, or should we just ignore this completely? The room was quiet for a moment, then everyone started talking at once. Some people thought they should write a polite letter, others thought they should just pretend. The message never came. A few people suggested sending the aliens a gift basket with Earth food to make them feel better. The meeting lasted exactly 12 minutes. President Choi decided they would do nothing special about the war declaration. She told everyone to go back to their normal jobs and not worry about the aliens. Admiral Yoon Seok-jin was the person in charge of Earth's space fleet. He was a tall man with gray hair who had been in the military for 20 years. He had fought in small wars between countries, but never in a war against aliens. His space fleet was not very impressive compared to what the aliens had. Earth had 37 ships that could fly in space. Most of these ships were old cargo ships that had been changed to carry weapons. The weapons were not very good either. The biggest ship in the fleet was called the HFY because it had been built by accident when someone ordered the wrong parts. The ship was supposed to be a cargo carrier, but it ended up being a warship instead. Nobody knew exactly how it happened right now. The HFY was at the repair station because the coffee machine was broken. The crew refused to fly without good coffee, so Admiral Yoon had to wait for the repair to be finished before he could use his flagship. The other ships in the fleet had similar problems. The definitely not lost was having trouble with its navigation system. The ship kept trying to fly to the wrong planets. The Maybe Tomorrow had engine problems and could only fly at half speed. Admiral Yoon looked at his list of ships and shook his head. He had fought in real wars before, and he knew that 37 broken ships were not enough to fight against the biggest alien army in history, but he also knew that nobody seemed very worried about this war. The government was not giving him extra money to fix the ships. The news reporters were making jokes about the aliens. His own soldiers were more interested in their weekend plans than in preparing for battle. Meanwhile, far away in space, the aliens were doing something completely different. They were building the most powerful army anyone had ever seen. 700,000 warships came from 43 different planets they flew through space in perfect formation like a giant metal cloud. Each ship was full of alien soldiers with the best weapons in the galaxy. The ships were all different shapes and sizes. Some looked like giant insects with metal wings, others looked like floating cities with hundreds of laser guns. Some were shaped like huge crystals that glowed with dangerous energy. Admiral Zothran was the leader of this giant army. He was from a planet where everyone looked like walking trees with many arms. His skin was brown and rough like tree bark. His eyes were yellow and could see things very far away. Admiral Zothran had won many wars against other planets. He had destroyed whole civilizations and conquered entire solar systems. He had never lost a battle. In his 300 years of fighting, next to him stood General Klixmara from the Bug People. She had 6 arms and could move very fast. Her species was famous for being excellent at war planning. They could think of 1,000 different battle strategies in just a few minutes together. Admiral Zothran and General Klixmara spent weeks planning how to attack Earth. They made detailed maps of every human city. They studied every human military base. They planned exactly where each of their ships would attack. They decided to attack the biggest cities first to make humans scared, then they would attack the military bases to destroy Earth's defenses. Finally, they would land soldiers on the planet to capture any humans who were still alive. The alien army practiced their attack plans every day. They flew their ships in perfect formations. They tested their weapons on empty planets. They prepared victory speeches for when they won the war. The aliens were so confident they would win that they even planned victory parades. They decided which alien leaders would give speeches. They chose which human cities would be renamed after alien heroes. Back on Earth, normal life continued exactly as it always had. Factory worker Nam Ji-ho still went to work every day making car parts. He still worried about paying for his house. He still watched television after dinner with his family. Nam Ji-ho had heard about the alien war on the news, but he did not think it would affect him. He thought the government would handle it like they handled all the other problems. The most important thing to him was that his factory was still making cars and he still had a job. Teacher Lee Hai-jin was preparing her lesson plans for the next week. She taught mathematics to middle school students. She had to think about how to explain algebra to kids who did not want to learn it. Lee Hai-jin also heard about the alien war, but she was more worried about her students' test scores. The aliens could wait until after the math test next Friday. Her students needed to learn about fractions, and that was more important than some space war even. The people in the military were not very worried about the aliens. Lieutenant Park So-ra was planning to visit her grandmother on the weekend. She had promised to help plant flowers in the garden. Captain Lee Dae-ho was thinking about buying a new coffee machine for the office. The old one made coffee that tasted like dirty water. He thought good coffee was more important than preparing for war. The only thing that changed on Earth was that more people bought popcorn at the grocery stores. People thought the alien attack would be like watching a movie with lots of explosions and special effects. Some people set up chairs on their rooftops so they could watch the space battle. Some families planned to have picnics while watching the aliens attack. They thought it would be fun entertainment. The aliens had expected humans to build bigger armies and better weapons. They expected humans to practice fighting and prepare for battle. They expected humans to be scared and worried instead. Humans were acting like the war was not important at all. They were more interested in their jobs and families and weekend plans than in the biggest military threat in galactic history. This confused the aliens very much. They had studied many different species and they all reacted the same way to war declarations. They got scared. They built armies. They prepared to fight or surrender, but humans were doing something completely different. They were ignoring the war and going about their normal lives. This had never happened before. In the history of the galaxy, the aliens began to wonder if humans were secretly preparing a powerful defense. Maybe humans were pretending not to care while they built secret weapons. Maybe humans were trying to trick them, but the truth was much simpler than that. Humans really did not care very much about the alien war. They had other things to worry about, and they thought the aliens would probably give up and go away. If they ignored them long enough, this was going to be a very different kind of war than anyone expected. The big crystal building of the Galactic Council was very loud today. Many alien beings from different planets were sitting in their chairs, looking worried and angry. The air felt heavy, like something bad was about to happen. Ambassador Vextar stood up from his seat. His skin was green and covered with scales like a snake. His eyes were red and angry. He walked to the big platform in the middle of the room. His heavy footsteps made loud sounds on the marble floor. All the other aliens stopped talking and looked at him. Vextar raised his scaly hand high in the air. Then he brought it down hard on the platform. The sound was so loud that it made everyone jump. Some of the smaller aliens covered their ears. The sound echoed through the whole building. "We have been patient for too long," Vextar shouted. His voice was deep and scary like thunder. "The humans have broken our laws. They have destroyed our mining places. They have made fun of us during important meetings, the other aliens started. Talking loudly, some were nodding their heads, others were making angry sounds with their mouths. The room became very noisy again. Vexstar hit the platform again to make everyone quiet. The humans think they are better than us. They laugh at our traditions. They do not respect our ways. They must be stopped. Ambassador Clixmara from the bug people stood up. She had 6 arms and big black eyes that looked like marbles. Her voice sounded like buzzing. We agree with Vexstar. The humans are dangerous. They do not follow the rules that keep peace in our galaxy. More aliens started standing up. A tall blue alien with tentacles instead of arms waved them in the air. The humans sold us broken machines, he said angrily. We paid good money, but the machines did not work. A small furry alien jumped on her chair. They promised to help us mine asteroids, but they took all the good rocks for themselves, she squeaked in a high voice. The noise in the room got louder and louder. Everyone was talking at the same time. Some aliens were pointing their fingers or tentacles or claws at pictures of humans on the big screen. Vexstar smiled, but it was not a nice smile. It showed his sharp teeth. I call for a vote, he said. We must declare war on the humans. They must surrender to us or we will destroy their planet. The voting began. One by one, each alien species raised their hands or tentacles or wings to show they agreed. The vote was 47 species saying yes and 0 saying no. Decision is made. Vexstar announced the Galactic Council officially declares war on the human species. They have exactly 72 hours to surrender completely. If they do not surrender, we will send our biggest army to destroy them far away on planet Earth. Captain Lee Daeho was having a normal morning. He was sitting in his office at the Seoul Space Command Center drinking hot coffee from his favorite mug. The mug had a picture of a funny cat on it. Lee Daeho was not a very tall man, but he was strong. He had short black hair and kind eyes. He wore a blue uniform with shiny buttons. He liked his job because it was usually quiet and boring. His computer made a beeping sound to tell him he had a new message. He put down his coffee mug and clicked on the message. The title said, Urgent Galactic Council DECLARAIO, and Lee Daeho opened the message and started reading. His eyes got wider and wider as he read. Then something funny happened. He started laughing first. It was just a small laugh, like when you see something a little bit funny, but then he laughed harder and harder. Soon he was laughing so hard that tears came out of his eyes. He was laughing so loud that people in other rooms could hear him. Lieutenant Park Sora was working at her desk. In the next room, she heard the loud laughing and got worried. She thought maybe something bad had happened or maybe her captain was sick. Park Sora ran to Lee Daeho's office. She opened the door quickly, expecting to see an emergency. Instead, she saw her captain sitting in his chair laughing like he had heard the funniest joke in the world. Captain, what is wrong? She asked. Are you okay? Lee Daeho tried to stop laughing, but every time he looked at his computer screen, he started laughing again. He pointed at the screen and tried to talk, but he could only make laughing sounds. Park Sora walked over to the computer and read the message. Her mouth opened wide with surprise. The message was very long and very official. It had big words and important stamps. The Galactic Council was declaring war on all humans. They said humans were bad and dangerous. They said humans had broken many laws. They gave humans exactly 72 hours to surrender or face the most powerful army in the galaxy. The message included detailed battle plans. It showed where alien ships would attack. It had maps of Earth cities. It even had suggestions for surrender ceremonies. The aliens had planned everything perfectly, but there was one thing the aliens had not planned for. They had not planned for humans to find the whole thing. Funny. Park Sora looked at her captain, who was still laughing. She read the message again, then she started laughing too. Soon both of them were laughing so hard they could not breathe. Other people in the building heard the laughing and came to see what was happening. Soon the whole Space Command Center was full of people reading the message and laughing. The news spread quickly to other military bases and government buildings. Everyone who read the message had the same reaction. They laughed. News reporter Kim Tae-young got the story for his evening news show. He was supposed to look serious and worried when he told people about the war declaration, but every time he tried to read the news, he started smiling. Good evening, everyone, Kim Tae-young said on television, trying to look serious. Today, the Galactic Council has officially declared war on planet Earth. He paused and looked at his papers, then he looked at the camera, and His serious face started to change. He was trying not to smile, but he could not help it. They have given us 72 hours to surrender completely, he continued. His voice was shaking a little because he was trying not to laugh. The people watching at home started laughing too. Soon everyone on Earth was talking about the funny war declaration on social media websites. People started making jokes about the aliens. They made funny pictures and videos. They started betting on how long the war would last. Most people thought it would be over in a few hours. Some people made jokes about surrendering. They said they would surrender if the aliens brought good food from space. Other people joked about fighting back with water balloons and rubber band guns. The general feeling among humans was simple. They were not scared or worried. They were amused. The whole thing seemed like a big joke to them. Most humans thought they had more important things to worry about. The coffee machine at Space Station Alpha was broken and needed fixing. People needed to decide what to eat for lunch. These seemed like much more important problems than a war with aliens. While the aliens were preparing their giant army and making their battle plans, humans were going about their normal daily lives. They went to work and school. They watched television and played games. They did not seem to understand that they were supposed to be afraid. The aliens had expected humans to panic and beg for mercy. Instead, humans were laughing and making jokes. The war that was supposed to terrify Earth had instead become the biggest source of entertainment the planet had seen in years. This was not how wars were supposed to start according to the Galactic Council's experience. But then again, humans had never been like other species in the galaxy. They had their own way of dealing with problems, and that way was about to surprise everyone.